Okay, hello. So today we're going to have a look at the present tense in Spanish. So we are going to cover how we conjugate verbs into the present tense in Spanish. So first things first, we'll just have a little look at the English. It's a good place to start because then we can use that to build onto Spanish. So in English, we'll just recap. In the present tense, we're talking about something that we do regularly or something that's happening right now. So that's how we use the present tense in English. For example, if we take the verb to talk, we'll say I talk or he talks. I've just got these up in the corner here. I talk, he talks. Or I eat and she eats. I live or they live over there, they live down the road. She eats mango every Monday. Who knows? Anything. But this is the present tense. We're happy with the present tense. We use it all the time in English. And when we're conjugating in the present tense, we don't have a lot of differentiation in the endings here. It's just talk, eat, maybe eats, talks. Yeah, it's not very complicated. But in Spanish, we have 6 different endings for every tense. And they refer to the different persons when we're conjugating. And we use the 6 pronouns in Spanish to conjugate. Okay, so let's have a look at those pronouns first before we do anything else. So the first person singular, we should already know this. The first person singular, we're talking about I. That is yo. Yeah, so we have yo for I. For the second person singular, we have tú. So it's just you, one person by yourself. I'm talking to you. That is tú. And we have the third person singular. So that's to refer to he, she, or you in a formal setting. So if I was talking to my boss, I would be saying you. So for he, it is él. For she, ella. So él, ella, and usted is the you in formal settings. Usted. And then in the plural, to refer to we have nosotros or nosotras. So when it's boys and girls or just boys, nosotros, and nosotras for just girls. Okay? And you in the plural, so a group of people, say a classroom, and I was referring to you all, I would be saying vosotros or vosotras if it was just girls. So boys and girls or just boys, vosotros, vosotras for just girls. And they, or also a group of you in a formal setting. We have ellos, a group of boys or boys and girls. So ellos, ellas for a group of girls, and ustedes. So that's more than one person to refer to as you in a formal setting. Ustedes. Okay, brilliant. So now let's have a look at how we actually conjugate. So we take those pronouns, all 6 of those pronouns, and I've got them listed down here because we have a different conjugation for each one. So the first thing we have to do is to take the infinitive of the verb. Now I have all of our infinitives here. We're going to take 3 different verbs because there are 3 different types of verbs. Now we have our, let me get a different colour. We have 3 different types of verbs. We have AR verbs. So hablar, to talk, is an AR verb. It ends in AR. We have comer, which is an ER verb. Ends in ER, to eat. And we have vivir, to live, which is an IR verb. So we have AR, ER, and IR verbs, and they each have a different conjugation. Okay, so we've got our infinitives. Step 1, done. Now let's have a look at the next step. So we have to take off the ending. So we take off the ending. Now our endings are these bits I've just underlined here. So AR, ER, IR, those are our endings, and we take those off. So we're just left with the bits beforehand. They're called our stems. Our stems. So take off the ending and we're left with our stem. And then the last thing we do is we add our new endings for the present tense. So each tense has their own endings. So we're going to add on our present tense endings and then we will have done it. So let's have a look at the first set of verbs. So we have hablar, to talk. We've taken off the ending, so we're just left with our stem, H-A-B-L. And for yo, I'm just going to go through these endings and then we'll pop them with the stem and create the verb. So for yo, our ending is an O. So if we add those together, we will get hablo, I talk. Yeah? And then our ending for tu, for you, in the second person plural, is as. So then if we do the same thing again, pop those together, hablas. There we go. So you talk. Then in our third person singular, it's just an A. So in all of these AR verbs, these endings are all the same, and we just add them onto the stem. So we'll do the same thing again. Habla. There we are. He talks, she talks, or you talk in a formal setting. Then we have our first person plural. So nosotros, we, or nosotras. And that is amos. Amos. So we'll add that on again, just the same thing. We have hablamos. So we talk. And then our second person plural, we have a funky one here, it's ais. So if we pop that onto the stem, habláis. And for they, we have an, an. And if we pop that on, hablan. So I talk, you talk, he talks, we talk, you talk, they talk. Hablo, hablas, habla, hablamos, habláis, and hablan. There we go. So we've just conjugated our AR verb into the present tense. So it's a bit of a system that we just have to get into. So we'll do the same thing for our ER verbs. Our endings are slightly different. So for yo, it's the same. So como, I eat. And for you, for tu, it is es. So comes, so slightly different. You eat. For él, ella, and usted, it's just an e, so a slight difference again. So come, he eats, she eats. For nosotros or nosotras, hemos, comemos, we eat. For vosotros, so you, eis. So forgot how to use a keyboard for a second there. Coméis. And for the final one, I'm just going to pop this here. It is en for ellos, ellas, ustedes. I don't have the room, so I'm just going to pop this here. Comen, so they eat. Comen. So they're slightly different, but you see how the trend is the same going through. So it's just a case of getting used to which one's which. So those are our ER verbs, to eat. And then our final one, vivir, to live. So our IR verbs, our endings for IR verbs, for yo, is the same again. So we have vivo. For tú, vives, vives, es. So the same as our ER verbs. For él, ella, and usted, we have just an e, so vive. For nosotros, nosotras, so we have imos, so we have imos, slightly different, so vivimos. For vosotros, vosotras, we have, now I've got an accent here, so I have to be careful to use that, so vivís. And our final one, we have en for ellos, ellas, ustedes, yuen. Okay? So those are all of our verbs, all of our different types of verbs, AR verbs, ER verbs, IR verbs that we have to conjugate. And those are all the endings that we use in the present tense, no matter what the verb is. So as long as it ends in IR, you use all of those endings there. Okay? Now later on we would practice some sentences, practice conjugating it, get into the flow of it and start using them regularly. But that is all the time that we have. So thank you very much and I'll see you soon.